Hello and welcome to the Gags Tandon show. Another win on this show for us. I'm joined by Dave Horrocks. Dave, how you doing? Oh, have I lost Dave? Has he? It looks like Dave has paused on me. The beauties of live streaming. This is great. What a great start. We'll wait for Dave to come back and yeah, we'll sort it. But yeah, I'm on my own for now until we can get Dave back. What a game. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't too impressed with the Reds. I need to find out where Dave is. But yeah, he's disconnected. He'll be back in a sec. But yeah, I wasn't too impressed myself with the game. But we'll it's one of those. Yeah, it looks like Dave's internet just went as I clicked live. Like it the fucking that's just nuts. Let me see if he's coming back, because if he's not, I'm on my own. Um, I might need to call out for for a guest to come on last minute. But anyway, let's do something. Let's go and have a look. Whilst I haven't got a guest, let's quickly look at some of the numbers for this one. Oh, he's back. He's back. Welcome, Dave. I was introducing, so maybe we could start again. My guest, Dave Horrocks, before his internet went.
The intro, the internet just went down literally as you just said, right, let's go. I'm like, mother lover. So, yeah, sorry about that, guys. Just thought I'd make you sweat a little bit.
You know what? This is us getting used to YouTube. It's brilliant. How you doing, bud? Long time no see.
I'm good. I've not spoken to yourself. I speak to you and Nina quite a lot. I've been checking in, obviously, avid listener, and just not really had a chance to come on and chat about the Reds. So when you put the call out, I'm
If
all in.
most of you that followed us on Anfield Index, a podcast, Dave used to be on the Nina Kaiser show quite a bit. Used to call in, used to be a guest, so you probably remember his voice from there if you did listen. And also, we used to have Comics in Motion on the AI channel as well back in the day. So yeah, Dave's still running that, so you can go if you're a big comic book fan, you can go and listen to that as well. But we're here to talk Liverpool. What's your initial reaction to that game?
So for me, I mean, it wasn't a great game, was it? Straight off the bat, it was fairly dull.
Mm.
However, for me, this is what I expect from those early European rounds. And I think back to the days where you're watching and you've got a team that you've never heard of. I mean, I thought initially I'd never heard of them. I thought they were an Italian team, and then it's like, oh right, they're sort of just up the road from Barcelona. So yeah, I just bunker down, to be honest, for these away nights. And if you think of early '80s European nights, it was just dull. It
They were
was
really dull.
Hansen, Lawrenson passing it
Yeah.
around at the back, and it was, if you could hold out for a 0-0 or a 1-0, it was a good result. So it wasn't a great game, but to be honest, delighted. That's 6 wins in 6. Can't really moan about that.
I mean,
Did we
that's
deserve it?
yeah. I mean, deservedly, I think when you talk about deserved, I think we do deserve it if you include the penalty. So let's talk the big the big decision, the penalty. It was definitely a penalty, surely. Like stood on his leg, the back leg first with the ankle, then on the follow through steps on his front leg as well. Which I mean, I didn't notice the back one. I noticed the front one. I was
Yeah.
like, what's going on? But then when you zoom in and you see, it's like, oh, okay. He literally, his boot came off, so he caught him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, surely you agree that was a pen.
So I don't know if I've been conditioned, because over the last few years, I mean,
Hmm.
if that's in the Premier League, I don't think that's given.
Yeah,
I'll be
true,
honest with you. Yeah.
true.
So I'm used to seeing these decisions, and then you watch it and you're like, well, of course that's a penalty. And then it comes to it. No, it's fine. Play on. So it was good. They did take their sweet time about it. When they go to the monitor, though, nowadays you're pretty confident, aren't you? They're pretty sure in the VAR room that it should swing the other way. And so when he went there, I was fairly confident.
Me
But
too.
then when Mo steps up, for me, never passes the eye test. This
No,
one was a sweet, sweet penalty,
yeah,
but especially after the other week, I wasn't that confident. But when it went in, I thought, right, that's what we need. And the second half was way better, wasn't it?
it
Just
was.
that bit more control, not the basketball without the point
No,
scoring in the first half.
no. The first half, if we look at it, and I won't bring it on screen today. I don't want to mess anything up after the games we've already had. But I mean, they were ahead on expected goals, way ahead on expected goals in the first half, 0.79 to 0.77, and all of theirs open play. And Gomez missed that chance. I mean, I wish Gomez had put that a little
Oh,
bit to the side. It was would have been his first goal right at the start of the game. So, you know, that would have been great. But um, yeah, and then the second half quickly, if I just go through that as well, then it was just all us. But again, if you take the penalty out, dude, it's still pretty tight, like the XG, it's still pretty tight. I mean, we only beat them by 0.1 ish on the XG in the
mm,
second half as well. So tight first, tight second. There wasn't much in it at all. And I thought it was like I think one of my friends said it was like a Premier League reject 11 from their side or something. But I think that's what made it harder. I mean, it's a bit disrespectful, but I think that's what made it harder. That they know how to, make it a tough game if they've been in the Premier League.
yeah.
It's all about energy. And but did you think that we helped ourselves? I thought we gave the ball out a lot
Mm.
when playing out the back.
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I thought they were a decent little side. I
Yeah,
thought when we
but
had the
they're in the
ball,
Champions League for a reason. Like from
yeah,
from
exactly.
Spain, like,
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
just get it.
It's not like the old days of, Dynamo Tbilisi or someone like that. So I just feel like it was almost like playing a Southampton. They like to play it around at the back. The keeper fancies himself when he's got the ball at his feet. And so, yeah, I just felt once we got ahead, I was pretty comfortable. And I'm a nervous watcher at the best of times, but I felt they looked decent, but without ever being threatening. We had a few chances though, but nothing. It wasn't like it would have been unfair if it was 2 or 3-0. I think. I mean, Trent had a decent free kick, didn't he? Andy Robertson had one at the near post. So I don't know. I feel like 1-0 was just about right.
Yeah, me too. I mean, at the end of the day, you get the penalty, you put it in, and that's the difference between the two games. When you look at the XG, 1.02 to 1.89, and the penalty was like 0.79 or something. So 0.78. So yeah, there you go. Pretty much it was dead on. Jack here, let's get in 18 out of 18. Save in the point in terms of point saving energy. Times in the first half where the players did look leggy at some stages, but big year to come for these lads. And fugly win, but accumulate enough of them, and invariably you can win things from RML. I totally agree. That's you get into the winning habit, should I say? That's
Yeah.
just what happens, right? When you start doing the winning. 6 out of 6, though. That's what I wanted to talk about first. It's I mean, I like to say this when you go back and you think Slot coming in, you were gonna I thought it was going to be a topsy turvy season. I thought it was going to be a tough season. How are you enjoying this run from him so far? And even though last week Newcastle wasn't exactly the best performance or result, but how are you
Yeah.
enjoying this run?
We swear on the Anfield Index, don't we? Or we can swear. Gags.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told off not to swear on YouTube because the algorithm and stuff. So
Oh, right. Okay. So I am chuffing loving it then. Let's put it that way. So coming into this season, probably the same as most of us, I was thinking, well, a bit of a transition season. I'm confident that we've got the right person. There's talk of Amarim, wasn't there? There's talk of Alonso,
Hmm.
but didn't quite fit with the squad and bringing through young players. So I was confident that we'd have done our homework. However, you know, after such a great time, such an emotional roller coaster with Klopp, I just thought it's going to be transitional. We'll have some good games, but we're not going to be in the running. And some of my mates, as I'm sure a lot of us, we've got Man United friends.
Hmm.
And I always get in the WhatsApps,
They were
the
loving it.
Phil Mitchell,
They
the
were
Phil
loving it.
Mitchell drunk,
Yeah.
and yeah, Slaughter will be sacked by Christmas and whatever. So I just generally post that every time we've won, which has been a lot of times this season. So the thing I've been most impressed by, obviously the coaching is top notch, and you can tell, the players are wanting to be respectful of Klopp, but you can tell it's a different game now. And even the behind the scenes stuff, you can see it's just a lot of fun, isn't it? It's with a purpose, but there's all these different types of games to keep the players entertained and engaged. So yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant. And I don't think in my
I mean,
wildest dreams I'd have thought we'd be here.
no, and I totally agree. I think the Klopp inside training videos were also a lot of fun. I think we did do.
Mm,
There's a lot of highlights that you'll always go back and see that they had a great time in there. I think the big difference, and that was from the under pressure pod, or at least from the under pressure guys in our WhatsApp chat, is the way they train is different now. So
mm,
if you don't listen or you're not a subscriber of Anfield Index Pro, you should be. AnfieldIndex.com/join. And Under Pressure is one of the best podcasts like in football existence, in my opinion. So you must subscribe and listen to that. But the point is, apparently we train completely differently to how we used to last year. We're not as exertive in training like we were with Klopp. So he
mm.
tries to save the legs more for the games if he can, but it's more tactical. It's more, like you said, more gamey, more fun, and he tries not to do too much. So that I think that's what happened last year with this exactly same, this same squad. Um, it ran out of energy, because of all the injuries and everything. Because we were just going
Mm.
hell for leather in training as well, apparently. But that's what they said. So it is interesting. Cam says wins a win through to the next round, no injuries, early kickoff and back to Liverpool. And back to Liverpool possibly tonight. I think there will be. Yep, all good going forwards for the weekend. And he's going to be on this show this on the weekend. And he says, "Can we swear? I don't think we can." And look, here's the other boss man. There you go. No swearing affects the YouTube algorithm.
On
And
my best
Helen
behavior.
agrees. Yeah, Helen agrees with me. Under pressure rocks. It absolutely does. So thank you, folks. Yeah. I mean, like you said, it was like this game didn't have too many talking points or much to talk about. I mean, if you go through the players, there wasn't anything that stood out for me. I mean, there's people dissing Darwin. I mean, there's no doubt he's not in the best form of his life. He's not having a great time. But not many players did have a great time today. They were. I mean, could you pick out any players that were just unplayable or having a great game? Maybe Verge only or something. I don't know. Or they
Yeah.
playing out the back. People like Trent and Gomez gave it away a few times.
Mm.
Coming out the back.
I thought it. I want to say neat and tidy, but we did give the ball away quite a lot, so it wasn't particularly neat and tidy. I do feel like there was one turn that Darwin did where he got fouled and taken down, and I thought, oh, that was a nice little turn. I thought that might give him a bit of confidence to
Yeah,
go on. But other than that, he's just hit one of those times where he just doesn't really look like a footballer. The way he's touching the ball, his confidence just seems to have left him completely. I don't know why. He seems to have the backing of the squad, people around him like him, but he's just not having a great time of it. But in terms of other players, I thought Szoboszlai was quite good, just in terms of running, in
energy.
terms of
Yeah,
up and down the pitch. Curtis
pace.
Jones, I just absolutely love. We've always criticised for holding onto the ball for too long, but he seems to have got that. I thought Diaz was okay without being fantastic. So there were a lot of sixes, I would say. Not in terms of Gravenberch six, but 6 out of 10s. But nothing more than that. But like I say, it's an away game in Europe. It's Tuesday night. It's kind of what I expect. It's par for the course.
So Cam's trying to host the show for me here. Are we a better team with or without Darwin? And hey, if you want to host it from the chat, folks, please do. No mind. It's not the greatest game to talk about. So if you want to ask us questions, go for it. We'll answer. So, are we a better team with or without Darwin?
I think this is probably Darwin's last season. I feel like you see this sometimes when you change managers, that some players just no longer fit the style, and I think Nunes fitted a Klopp style more than he fits a Slot style. I think when you see the other players, and like I say, there's lots of sixes in the side, but a lot of close control, players receiving the ball, surrounded by other players, but the ball's sticking to them. Nunes just isn't quite that player, so he wants the ball in the channels, really, and I just don't feel like we're that side. Are we a better team? I mean, I don't think Jota started off the season great. So I would say, though, if Jota was fit, I'd probably have him in the side. So I guess the answer from my opinion, but yeah, probably.
I think we are. I think there's no probably. I think we are. If you put Gakpo and Diaz in, or you put Jota in, we're a better side. Unfortunately for him, like I said before, the other week when we did this show, maybe it was with Grizz. Want him to do great. I wish he'd score 20 goals a season.
Yeah.
I think Sam Maguire has been saying that the slot system's not suiting him, things like that. So I mean, that may be a factor as well. I'm not gonna argue against things like that. But at the end of the day, he's just not getting the chances. And when he does get the chances, because he's getting he's getting fewer than ever before. It's if he's going to be still putting them in at the same level he was last year, which is like taking loads of chances, he's just not going to score, is he? If he's getting fewer chances now, so I feel bad for him, but unfortunately, that's just the way it's going to be. I think there's a funny one here. I wonder if Asprey is as mad as a box of frogs as his namesake Faustino was.
Yeah.
He was a good player, wasn't he, today? I thought Asprey had nice, tidy touches on the ball. I think maybe didn't give too much, didn't create or whatever too much. But when he touched the ball, he was pretty good on it. I thought he was good there. Romeo was there. Who else was there? Oh, Van der Beek gave the penalty away, which is always great when an ex-Man United player does that. Who else was there from the Premier League in there? Dan Juma was Villarreal, was it last time we played him? Is that right? Did he go from there?
He
went from there to, I'm not sure if he was, there was I think so. I just remember playing against them. Was it? I'm sure it was Villarreal. I'm sure. Or it was Sevilla, one of the two. Anyway, he played for one of them. I just remember him playing against us and we beating them as well. So that was good. But yeah, we have some good points here. I brought it up earlier and we should talk about him now. It was Jack saying Ali is back in now where he left off. And then RML saying, please don't forget to talk about Alisson, who basically got given a chance to remind us why he's him. And go on. You can react to that point by RML and Jack.
Yeah, I mean the game could have been so different because I was saying that I feel like 1-0 was about right, but I think because Alisson's back between the sticks, you just sort of take him for granted. But they did have a few decent chances, especially in the first half. It could have been very, very different. I do feel sorry, as a lot of people do, I'm sure, for Kelleher. He was basically flawless, didn't make a mistake until he did. And then, it's the problem with being a keeper, isn't it? You make a mistake like that, the guy puts in a ridiculous finish as well on top of the mistake, and then suddenly, you're the villain. Oh, look, Alisson's back. So even if it was a decision, which I don't think it was probably, I think there'd have been more people clambering to say, oh, well, Kelleher deserves to stay in. But I think because of that, Alisson comes in and then it's like he's never been away.
Totally agree. Like and subscribe, people. Please like and subscribe. Make sure you keep liking and subscribing. I totally agree. I was impressed with him immediately. So many pretty big saves. I mean, they only had, I think, the one big chance. So, but there were some decent amount of saves in there that you'd expect him to make, and then pull some off that were impressive as well. Diving, almost catching the ball, really in full stretch. But I love him. He made a few. I think the bit where I get worried about him is his kicking, especially when it's awkward or he's rushed, and that's where he's pulling his muscles, isn't he? And that's where he's getting injured. And today he was doing some acrobatic type kicks and flying kicks and stuff. So it looks like he's back to his full flowing best, which is good. So glad he's back. And that makes us stronger, doesn't it? At the end of the day, and confidence-wise, I mean, to be fair, I didn't even for one game, I did not feel like Kelleher was a worry. I was always confident with him in goal, so I want to praise him very much. And he made some mistakes in the last game. It happens to all of us, and it can happen to anyone. But I can't say anything bad about him. Like, I just don't want to. He's been absolutely amazing. We've got some stats here from Mr. Gibbs as well. Most duels won for Luis Diaz, most foul player in the match. I mean, this yellow card he got was an absolute joke. 2 out of 4 dribbles completed, 1 out of 2 tackles won, and 95% passing accuracy. Looking at Verge as well, we've got he was sublime, most passes, most accurate, 3 recoveries, 3 clearances, 4 recoveries, and an interception. So it's been right. We've got another question, which is from Helen. You're helping us out here because there's not much to talk about in this game. What do you think? Thank you so much, Helen. What do you think about the Diaz-Robertson partnership down the left? Didn't look that connected going forward. What do you reckon, Dave?
Yeah, I think Robertson's taken a fair bit of stick this year, and there's no doubt he's dropped off. What I would say, I'm going to defend him, because I think back, I've been watching Liverpool since the 80s. I can't think of a better left back consistently than Robertson. We've had some. I put up with the likes of Steve Harkness back in the day.
Don't you dare diss Steve Harkness.
Robertson still. David Burrows.
Oh my God.
We had to put up with these players, and so Robertson's dropped off a bit, but he's still pretty good. I don't know. It's interesting that Diaz was the most fouled, because I felt he was getting the most Salah treatment from the referee after a while. I thought he was fouled more than fouls were given against him.
He was the most fouled, and yet he didn't get a whole load of fouls as well. You're right.
Yeah.
It was the referee was a homer for sure again.
Yeah.
It was just so many stupid decisions like for fouls, but none that were egregious, should I say? Like, there's nothing to get angry about. You just get frustrated watching the game when it's your club, right? And you're like, oh, that was a foul. That wasn't a foul.
Yeah.
And then the penalty wasn't given either. Like, his boots off, dude. Like, thankfully, they try to look at it a bit more in depth in the Champions League than they do in the Premier League.
Like you say, though, for the booking, he's basically sort of slipped over. It wasn't a massive slip, but the guy's run into him. And he's booked for it, and he's saying to him, "Oh, well, that's accumulation of the previous fouls." But surely, if the guy runs into you don't deserve a booking for that. And like I say, there were a few times when he went down, and I thought it was a genuine foul, but he didn't seem to get the rub of the green. Oh, look at that, Julian Dix! What a terrible player. When we had Razor and Julian Dix. And I remember thinking, we're going to battle.
I would have fit well into that back four, with them two in there, like the 3 Tubbies or something. That's running around together, bouncing bellies off
against the Blues, though, didn't he?
Oh my God, I mean, you're talking now when you're going back sometime now, going back to Steve Nicol. He can't even spell Nicol, by the way, Branchy. There's no H in Nicol. But yeah, I have to diss Branchy all the time. But yeah, Nicol was one of the best we've ever had. At the end of the day, incredible footballer, bad pundit, very bad pundit.
Really bad pundit.
Really bad pundit, but very good footballer. I think he scored something like 20 goals from left back once or something stupid in a season of 15. He scored a crazy amount.
Hat-trick.
Oh, okay, now we're doing it. Like this guy.
Don't remind me of Hodgson, please.
We're so far away from Hodgson right now.
Everyone's making my point that Robertson, he's dropped off a bit, but come on, let's remember where we came from.
that point is so good. I like it because we do. I'm guilty of it. I'm not gonna absolve myself. I'm guilty of dissing Robbo as well. So even Robbo here is better than all those players that just got mentioned. In terms of Dix and Konchesky. I mean, that's a low bar, to be honest. But Cam is like
Digging a Bjornaby. He's putting a decent cross, though, to be fair.
Before we do go and talk about results and what there's a good question from RML in here. Let's just focus on this here from Ferdinand right now. Yes, they have to be the favourites to win the Champions League. That must hurt Rio saying some stuff like that because he is a bit of an idiot, to be honest.
Speaking of bad pundits.
Another bad pundit, yeah. Another. Oh, wait up.
Yeah.
That's all he's going to be remembered for. So I mean, we must be the favourites. We have to be in the form. I think some of the teams we've I think our schedule for it has been maybe easier than others. I don't know. Maybe there needs to be some analysis on that. Maybe Under Pressure Boys can do something like that. We've had the tough games at home in terms of Madrid and Leverkusen. So those Champions League nights with a big team coming is incredible. Those are just incredible. And then away, I think Milan was the hardest one, but it was right at the start of the season where everybody was fresh. And I think we got it. But apart from that, I think it's not been so difficult. 6 wins, six games, 6 wins, 13 goals, and 1 conceded. I mean, that's incredible as well from us, to be fair. Even, I mean, at home, we didn't playing against Leverkusen and Madrid and still beating them. And Madrid could have got hammered, to be honest. They could have got hammered.
Oh, it wasn't just the win. It was the way we did it as well. I mean, again, I don't care about the Newcastle game. I kind of do. And if we lose the league by a couple of points, I'll definitely care about it. But to beat City, to beat Madrid in the same week, it's just absolutely amazing. That we've owed from the previous years. Just what an absolute week. And the old adage is you can only beat what's in front of you. And so I think that's maybe us just being cautious. I mean, this season's just bonkers, isn't it? I mean, we haven't blown away. It feels like we've got an extra couple of gears to go. It doesn't feel like we're at the top of our game. Okay, in the second half against Madrid, probably that was a good showing, but it feels like there's more to come from this team, and we're just top of both leagues. So I don't want to make predictions about the Champions League because once you get down to the quarterfinals, it gets quite. It's all top teams, isn't it? It's all, especially Madrid. They can pull it out the bag. But yeah, I'm just absolutely loving this season so far, and just. We've got 7 games in December, 7 games in January. They're coming thick and fast, and it feels like. Do you remember 2001? It seemed like that, where at the weekend you've got a top game, and then in the midweek you've got a game coming up as well. It's just like that, and yeah, the team just keep performing.
How much help do you think the postponement on the weekend is going to be for us in the coming weeks?
I was happy about it, to be honest. I thought with the wind, I got up on Saturday morning and I'm a bit further down south, but it was still really windy. I thought, oh God, I hate those 12:30s at Goodison, and they'll relish it, and mixing it up. So I was quite happy it was put off. But like I say, we've still got 7 games in December, so it's still, almost 2 games a week. So I don't know if it's going to make a massive difference, but I think it's probably helped us a bit tonight.
I think it is. I think it's given us the chance to refresh the legs up, and I think with Maka not playing the weekend as well, we'll go to the lineups for Saturday in a minute. But with Maka not playing on the weekend as well, I think it means he comes back in fresh the week after, and somebody else gets to rest for a couple of games, or at least 2 players can get rotated out for a game each. To be honest, I hope we don't play anybody in the Southampton game. I mean, tonight I was surprised he went so strong. I was really surprised that an Elliott didn't start, and things like that. I was very, very shocked that we didn't bring some kids in and stuff, and maybe we would have lost the game if that happened. But this is a great point. Depending on results elsewhere, top 8 all but secure. Does 8 wins out of 8 matter to you, or do you rotate heavily? Like we've just been carrying on with that discussion about rotation, 8 out of 8 doesn't mean anything to me. What means something to me is getting out of this, because what's clear with the rules, and they've been very clear now since the last chat G&G with Grizz, where we didn't know what the rules were, is that the top 8 just qualify directly. There's no advantage at all. The advantage only comes in the playoffs, where we've lost Dave again for his Wi-Fi, I think. but the only advantage comes when it's where you finish after that, and that's for the playoff that you get the second leg at home. So there's literally no advantage. You just go with those that get through into the one at the same time. So, for me, I don't I don't think 8 wins out of 8 RML mean anything to me. We should rotate heavily for the next game, and I think, is this the last one in December? Is there one more and one in Jan? I think there's one more in Jan, right? Sorry, there's one this month and one in Jan. Is that right? Have we got another one? I'm gonna have to check it out now because I'm confused. But I do. I was thinking that we have another one. Maybe let's have a look. Fulham is coming up on the weekend. Matches. No, the next two are in next year. So in Jan. So yeah, January we should literally just rest for those, because around them we haven't got bad games, to be honest. Well, Brentford away, Forest and Brentford away before, and then we've got Ipswich at home, which isn't bad in sandwich in between, and Bournemouth away. So Bournemouth, Brentford, Forest away games around those Champions League ties, away games. I think you've got to focus on those away games, to be honest. Forest can be a handful, Brentford are a handful. Bournemouth have been beaten, I think Man City and Arsenal recently. So I do think, just checked. I think at the end of the day, we should rest. I mean, I'm not even sure. Oh, Dave's here now. Sorry, I missed him there. Dave's back. Sorry, mate. I didn't see you waiting there. That's all good. But we were just talking about, rotation and how I would rotate heavily for the next two Champions League games. To be honest, I would rotate heavily for the game that's coming up after Fulham for Southampton. So I'd like to hear your comments, and please do keep liking and subscribing. We really need all the likes we can get on the videos, folks. So I can see quite a few of you in the chat. Please do just click like if you can. That would be appreciated. If you can subscribe, we'd love you even more. But Dave, rotating for the Carabao. I mean, I don't think he's going to do it, judging by tonight with what he played. Yeah. But would you rotate for the Carabao and bring in, I mean, we don't have much of a second string defense. That's the problem. Kwanzaa's the only one, I guess, that comes in.
Yeah, but I'm probably where you are. I don't care. Just put the kids out. I don't care about the Carabao Cup. When we're going for the two Premier competitions, let's just keep the top team for that. And the trouble is, I think very much like Klopp, he has his first 11, and then he might rotate 2 or 3 players, but that's it. It doesn't change that much. It's not back to Rafa Benitez days, where every single game it's a different. You've basically got no idea. I remember away against Betis and played a completely wacky side with Cinema upon goal was on there, and you're just like, where the hell did that come from? And so I don't think Slot is that type of manager. I think he's going to keep that nucleus and that big nucleus of the team together. But I don't want to. I want him to rotate.
Stresses me out. This is why we needed a bigger squad. This is why we kept asking for a few more signings. It just, the second string, you get a couple of injuries like Konate and Bradley, and all of a sudden you can't rotate your defense. Like it's gonna be rough. And Eddie here wasn't expecting an angry Arne after the 6th Champions League win, but he's clearly fuming with the first half performance. We were poor. Yeah. And I think you have someone that really likes you, mate, here on Facebook, watching on Facebook. So yeah, they love you, Dave. Well done, amazing. But but yeah, I mean, I would. Oh, here you go, Damo with the point. I'd made Jaden down as captain against Southampton. All the young we've got to. Is there anyone who disagrees with our point about resting for Southampton, or are you all? There's fans out there that think we should just go win all, but do you understand that there's a cost to doing that? Do you understand that there's a cost that if we did go and do that, we could get more injuries, and then we could be out without players for those really key Premier League games that are about to come up? We've got Spurs away coming up as well, which may or not sound like a a big game, but it always is. They beat City there. They just lost to Chelsea, but they can turn it on when they want to. The first 20 minutes. I mean, obviously there was 2 mistakes in there from Chelsea, but hopefully when we get to Spurs, they've lost all their confidence. That would be very nice. But at least keep the manager in. But yeah, I don't know. I'm always confused with fans that want to play the first team in every single game. I'm just really confused that we don't learn from our mistakes. And yeah, Damo's like go back in time at the moment here. Cinema Pongo, Latalik, and Sheru against Southampton. Wish we could. They did do all right.
Bruno
And
Shearer,
Maloya said we have to prioritize until we get what fit, maybe.
Yeah, get some players back, maybe.
Yeah, the second part, a bigger and more durable squad. There you go. Finished it.
Yeah, I mean, we've still got some good youngsters, haven't we? I wouldn't mind seeing some of those. Like, say, Dan's looked great, didn't he?
Morton. I think McConnell was on the bench. I wouldn't mind playing him next week. In Southampton, they did well in the final. Play the team that was in the final. That's what I said.
Yeah, some of them gone though, haven't they?
They have. Yeah, they have. We've given some of them away. So, yeah, I think we can win, Helen, with the second team. Brad's asking a question. When you say resting, do you mostly mean? Yeah, I mean like the players that have been overplayed, and also the ones that are at risk. Like Trent would be at risk if he plays 3 or 4 games in a row at the moment. He's just come back. Grav is definitely tired. Like he was going to be VVD and Salah. You can't lose them, so we can't. You're right. Yeah, that's what I mean, Brad. If that makes sense to you, but I think we can't do many more in defense, to be honest, because we don't have the players. We just don't.
Yeah.
So, but we can't risk losing them. And RML agrees with us. Too many players are already close. And again, if you listen to Under Pressure, this is the point. Too many of them are already close to their career best in minutes to tempt fate. You don't want this team running out of fumes when it counts. And this start will feel worse if they end badly, like it did last year. This is exactly where we were last year, And yeah, Leone, I want to see him play.
Definitely.
I really would want to see him play. Here we go. Our players' reason we're not playing twice a week, but without appropriate rest can't last the season. Hence, bigger squad needed. I completely agree as well. We need to do that. And if they aren't playing midweek, then they can train a little bit harder in midweek, just not as hard as they would in a game. So it's not so bad. We got some comedy from Damo. Bruno Sherry will always be the next Zidane. Yeah. That was so funny when we signed him and we get overexcited. Those gems, some of those gems, Julier's gems.
Yeah, obviously because Zidane was looking for a house in Southport, wasn't he? But we got Bruno Shearer instead. So the rumor went.
Yeah,
but yeah, was it 2 or 3 years ago though when we were going for the quadruple, and for that last month or 4 weeks, 6 weeks, we were so clearly running on empty. It's not just the physical fatigue; it's the mental fatigue as well. It's not even just the star players. Like I put Szoboszlai in there. Like I say, he's such a different player. Oh my God, Jay Spearin as well. So Dom's such a different player when he's got a full tank, and he's up and down the pitch, and he just does all that legwork. And again, if you think to that 17-18 team, the midfield had so much legs. They were press resistant. If you think about Genie and stuff like that, this team, I mean, Jones, like I say, I bloody love him. I think he's a proper classy player now. And, they've got it, but we just have to protect them. Not quite put them in cotton wool, but definitely Carabao Cup. Let's bring the kids out. And if we go out, we go out.
Yeah, completely. Daniel as well. You guys are right. This is the season to go strong in the Cups. We've done that 2 of the last 3 years, and it cost us the bigger trophies. And that's exactly what we're trying to get across. And I really hope, I just hope our manager learns from the previous mistakes of previous managers, and because otherwise we're going to be gutted again last year. Dom started so well last year as well. I think people forget how well he started and then dropped off a cliff because he was just playing so many minutes, and he played 2 games a week every day, every week, all the way up to Jan Feb, and then that was it.
Yeah.
was just not the same player, and like that hurts the player as well, confidence wise. So we need to throw the Mickey Mouse cups. We need to learn from last few years. Completely agreed. Serious question, and maybe last one. Okay, so can we get AI podcast to play instead, and who plays in goal? Oh, genius. I would love to get Cam in goal just so we could pelt the ball at him, So, or I mean, I would turn around in defense and kick the ball at him, to be honest. So, just aim for Cam. Yeah, I mean, podcasters, yeah, it would be a crazy team. Who should we buy in January? Sorry, Jam. Should we buy in Jan, and who? Liam says. I wouldn't know who, to be honest, and Liverpool will probably pull something crazy out the bag if they did do it. But if you ask me if we should, absolutely, we should be buying in Jan. We should be buying 2 or 3 if it was up to me. But what about you, Dave? Do you think the same?
Yeah, again, I mean, my knowledge of the world football, these up and coming young players, obviously Zubamendi, the rumors are still that we're still interested, and he might, come this time. But I can't help but feel that might be a closed door. But he definitely seems to fit the bill. Although, him not coming as Mate Gravenberch has just been an absolute revelation. Oh my God, Sean Dundee there. What about Eric Meyer as well? Mad Eric, didn't score a goal, put it all in, went to P&E, Preston North End, still didn't score a goal. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like, more than someone who's going to come into the first 11, I want to see some succession planning. I want to see those players coming in. So like left back. So I was saying about Robo, he's dropped off a bit, but still quality. But we are going to have to think about a proper solution, and Simicast isn't it. So I'd like to see someone come in who might not go straight into the side, but is definitely the quality to grow, that got the potential to go into that first 11 at some point, and then just fatten out the squad a bit. Give us some buffer so that when we do get injuries, we can cope with it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, and if I can ask Santa Claus for anything, Isaac would be on the list.
Yeah.
I think up front, he'd be perfect for us.
He's just injury prone as well, though. That's the problem.
Hmm.
And so, would you want another one of them in? I just don't know. That's a great player. Yeah,
keep forgetting we've got Chiesa as well. He could play in the Carabao Cup, I guess. Old Aquilani too.
That's what I mean. I have such high hopes for him, and he's not given any of the players any rest at all, really, so far. And it would be good for him to play that game with Nunes and one of the others just getting 45 minutes each or something. Gakpo and maybe even Dan's playing. Sorry, so
yeah,
they could be Nunes on the left, Chiesa right, and Dan's maybe up top. Something like that would work. But how about quickly the lineup for Saturday? As Cam asked quite a while ago, I thought we'd go back and just quickly answer this one. Would you keep it the same? Because we don't have many options, or would you do the Darwin for Gakpo change at least?
Well, he seems to prefer. He definitely likes Gakpo on the left, doesn't he? Because even when he came on today, I thought he was going to go in the middle, but he prefers to move Diaz to the middle.
Yeah.
So it could be that, and that's worked well for us in the past. I think right now I'd have to say yes. Stick Diaz in the middle, Gakpo on the left.
Yeah.
I'm sure I read though, isn't Jota supposed to be back soon?
Yeah. He's supposed to be fit, back training again, so maybe back on the bench. And again, the Carabao might be a good place for him to come back in and get some minutes, just to play a little bit of time.
Yeah,
fine as well. I'd rather he get back up to speed with a game in there than have a week off and play the midweek after, if that makes sense, with Spurs or whoever. So we don't have to. I mean, if he's back, then we don't have to, overplay anyone. Nunes could play on the left, Jota and then Chiesa, hopefully, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is fine for me. If they're fit, that's what it is. It needs to be fit. Midfield wise. Anyway, the question was about Fulham. I think the back four has to be the same.
Yeah.
I think the midfield has to stay the same. And I think the only change would be Gakpo for Darwin for me. Literally.
Is McAllister still suspended?
This game and the next. Yeah, he misses both.
Yeah, so same midfield, isn't it? So yeah, it's only I reckon he'll potentially keep it the same though. I reckon Nunez could actually keep his spot there.
Wow, I'm not sure. I think Nunez needs to be rested for the Carabao.
Well, if there is that, I'm not going to disagree with you there.
I
I
think he
don't
does
know.
need to be rested for the Carabao personally, but we can figure that out. That's my 11. Any man of the match at all for you today?
I kind of want to give it to Allison just because it felt so warm and fuzzy to have him back. He
Yeah,
definitely some big moments, big saves, especially in that first half. But I thought, he looked solid again in the second half. I actually thought Joe Gomez played quite well, and oh my god, I was up off my seat. That header right at the start of the first half, I thought that was it. As soon as he connected, I was up off my seat. But before I landed, the keeper had already saved it.
yeah. I think
Uh,
all the stats point at Alisson being the man of the match as well, which is crazy, really. And I'm just looking at FootMob and stuff, so that's mad. That when you mentioned him, I went and looked, and the order is Alisson, Mo, Robbo, Paulo Gazziniga, Diaz, Gomez, Verge, Ryan, Gravenberch, Curtis, Jones. Oh, Daily Blind, Trent. Yeah, so there you go. It was. I think I totally agree with you on this one. I normally have a different point. But yeah, I would agree. Let's give it to Ali. He's back, and let's long may it continue. But Dave, I just want to say a massive thanks for helping me out on this post match. Not the most newsworthy game, but very nice to have a win and have 6 in a row in the Champions League. That's a record for us, I bet.
yeah.
I don't know if I think we have done it in one of the seasons in the group stages, maybe when we won all games. I'm not sure. I think we did do it with Klopp once, maybe. But maybe if we win a 7th, it would be a record in a row. But hey, whatever. It's great for Slot, and I'm going to be interested to listen to his post-match interview now. Where apparently he's lost it a little bit or got a bit angry. So we should go figure that out or check that out. But again, thanks a lot, Dave. Hope to have you back very soon. And everybody else, please do keep liking and subscribing to Anfield Index on YouTube. I'll be back on Thursday with Grizz for another chat G&G at 7:30 on Thursday night. Then I'll be back on Saturday with the Desi crew. So there's going to be 4 of us for the first time on a post match. So yeah, Cam and Nina and Harinda hopefully are all available to join me post match on that. So that you'd have a good time there. But yeah, once again, thanks very much, Dave, and to everybody who's watched and interacted with us and liked as well. Not enough likes. Need more likes, folks. Thank you very much for supporting us so far, and we're going to continue to keep going for you. And hopefully, you're enjoying our shows. But yeah, thank you very much, and up the Reds. We'll see you on Thursday, and then on Saturday.